The Way of the Heart, Lesson 6. Now we begin. And indeed, once again, greetings unto you, beloved and holy friends. Indeed, greetings to you, beloved and holy friends. If you understand the meaning of this greeting, if you comprehend the depth of each term used, already you know all there is to know, and you are well prepared to extend the love of God forever. Indeed means simply that there are no other options. Greetings unto you, salutations to the one created of the Father before all things, for I bow down before your radiance. Greetings unto you, beloved and holy child of God. Indeed, beloved of God, indeed, beloved of every molecule in your physical universe. Indeed, loved of your holy mother, this precious earth, indeed, loved by anything you could imagine that has ever existed or ever could exist, but that has extended itself from the heart and mind of God. You are the beloved, pure and simple, and again, there are no options. Holy, because you are whole, not because you have earned that holiness, but because it is that which is the truth from which you are extended forth forever, because you are made in the image of God, because you spring forth from the mind of God. You are holiness itself. Each time you set aside the temptation to dream a useless dream and walk this earth as Christ. Beloved and holy friend, a friend is not one lesser than myself. A friend is one who walks in perfect equality with the grandest of masters, whoever you might conceive such a master to be. A friend is one who chooses to look upon another and see only the face of Christ therein. And there is no one present in this room, and indeed, there shall never be anyone present in the hearing of these words that has not already looked upon me and seen the face of Christ within. And likewise I look upon you and call you friend. For when I look upon you, I see not the very momentary dreams that you seem to think are lasting so long. I see only the radiance of that which my Father has extended out of love. I see only that which is neither beginning nor ending, and I see only that which knows neither birth nor death. I see only that which has no limitation. I see only that, the light of which is already extended throughout all dimensions and all universes. I see only my brother and my sister, and I see not a trace of any quality between us. And yet I do recognize that within your dream, it appears to you that I have gone ahead just a little bit, and at times within your hearts there is a longing to follow me. And if you would but heed that longing, and if you would make that longing primary at all times, your own desire will bring you wholly to where I am. And you will laugh when you discover that you haven't moved an inch, that where I am is where you are, and where you are is in eternity and not in time. That where you are is in the place of your birth, the mind of God. This is the only thing that is true, and is true always. This is the only reality that you genuinely possess. Therefore, indeed, I call you friend, for well do I see that you are as I am, and therefore, indeed, greetings unto you, beloved and holy friends. So we can stop now. There is nothing else to be said, and yet the mind races, does it not? And yet it races from the very reality that I have just described about you. The mind races from that source as a sunbeam to the sun. Yet in reality it never leaves its source. And the very power with which you seem to become distracted by a momentary thought of fear is the same power of which you will awaken to your own call. In truth, there is a place within you that already knows the day and the hour, You already know when you are going to decide to live the decision to be awake in God, to be only the presence of love. And love embraces all things, allows all things, trusts all things, and transcends all things. Love is never possessive. Love is never fearful. Love is simply love. Love cannot shine with specialness upon anyone at any time, for specialness itself is a contraction. The attempt to take love and make it shine only on one object, on only one person, only on one being, only within one universe. Whenever, therefore, you recognize that you have singled someone or something out and said, they hold a greater value, you may rest assured that you're not in love at all. You are in fear, and therefore, if that one were to leave you, where would you be? But if you are in love as a fish within the sea, all beings can arise and pass away, and you will bless them in their journey. And you will remember that you reside where God has placed you, and God has placed you in his heart. And when you choose to be only the presence of love, even the dream of loss will dissolve from your consciousness as a forest mist before the rising sun. Indeed, beloved friends, love does wait upon your welcome. And yet you cannot welcome love by waiting for it to be brought to you by another, not even by me. You cannot welcome love by trying to scurry about to create the environment in which you believe your preferences are being met. You cannot welcome love when that welcome is attached or linked to any phenomenal thing, anything which has been birthed in time. Love can only be welcomed where love truly resides, and love resides within you as the core and the source of your very being. Therefore, if you would know love, know yourself. Embrace the truth about it, and the truth will set you free. Then indeed love will flow through you. And like the great sunlight that comes to nurture this beloved earth of ours, the love that flows through you will be unimpeded. It will not meet an obstacle. And you will look upon whomever is in front of you, and you will know that they are sent unto you of the Father. They have been guided to you by the Holy Spirit, because through you, love can be given in a way that begins to touch the place of their awakening. That is why you are but the servant of love. That's all that life is. When you choose to surrender, to give up the game, to give up the dream of trying to resist the truth that is true about you always, you will become a mere channel, a mere conduit. You will become no more a seeker, for you will have decided to have found. And surrendering the last vestige of an insane possibility of contracting away from the truth, when you've given that up, love will flow through you. But notice that if it flows through you, it must first flow to you. Therefore, seek always to receive in order to give. For what can you give another if you have not yet given it to yourself? How many of you have been taught to try to love, to try and do the right thing, the good thing, whatever that is supposed to mean? And yet, how many times have you gone within your secret chamber and said, I am unworthy? And then you wonder why your attempt to join in love with others never seems to be quite fulfilling enough, never quite seems to fill the cup, never quite seems to elicit the joy that you believe could be there. For indeed, listen well, your work, if you wish to call it that, is not to seek and find love. 'Tis merely to turn within to discover every obstacle that you have created to its presence, and to offer that obstacle to the great dissolver of dreams, the grace of the Holy Spirit. I have said unto you many times that the greatest of gifts you can give is this, to come wholly to the recognition that every attempt you have made to resist being the presence of Christ has failed you miserably. No matter how many times you have tried to convince yourself that you are unworthy, yet does the universe find a way to love you. No matter how many times you have tried to lock yourself into the space and volume of a body, it hasn't succeeded. And at death, you have remembered and been confronted with the radiance of your unlimitedness. Therefore, indeed, the greatest of gifts you can give another is to be one who has rescinded the need to insist on the insanity of fear. Fearlessness is the primary characteristic of mastery, and mastery is not having great power to make things happen. Mastery is only the recognition that what is true always, and there is no other choice. Free will does not mean that you have the right to believe that you can succeed at being other than what God created you to be. Having free will does mean that you can elect not to take the only curriculum that life is offering to you in every moment. It means only that you do have the right to put it off yet another day. And each time you put it off, you slumber in your suffering. But when you elect to take the only curriculum that matters, when you elect to use the power of your free will to say, now, from this moment on, I will no longer tolerate error in myself. No more games, no more dramas. I am committed to being only the presence of love, for that is the truth of who I am. It matters not the opinion of others who are yet resisting that decision. Then, indeed, all things under heaven and earth move to support you, to guide you to the right person, the right place, the right book, the right sunrise, the right meadow, in order to assist you in dropping the shackles of the obstacles to the presence of love that you have created as an idol and as a substitute for love. And that is why, when truly you pray from the depth of your soul, Father, bring me home, you may rest assured from that moment on, it's okay to trust every little thing that unfolds. For though you see it not, what you would call the angels, friends that simply don't have bodies, are rushing about because you have given the command to say, yes, I accept your presence in my life. I turn the whole thing over. Now each moment is dedicated to healing and awakening the illusory sense of separation from God that once I created in error. Love. In how many ways have you sought it? Can you count the ways? Would you dare to try to count each little pebble of sand on the beaches of the planet? For rest assured, each and every soul has already tried to seek out love that in many ways, if not more. You have sought it in a million forms in which you already knew that you could not find it. All because you wanted to perpetuate the insane attempt to try to separate yourself from God. And that is as futile as a sunbeam trying to separate itself from the sun. Indeed, beloved friends, there is only one question you need answer. What am I choosing in this moment? What have I given mastery over my life unto? What perception, what thought, what feeling? Since feeling merely flows from the thought or the perception you have chosen. What behavior, what action am I choosing in this moment? And does it express the reality of my beingness? Am I being busy extending love, or am I busying myself fearfully trying to grasp of that which I think can give me love so I don't lose it? Look well, then, upon your parents and your siblings and your mates and your friends. Not one of them holds the power to bring love to you. So what are you trying to get from them? Why do you ever insist that another ought to be conformed to you what you believe you need? It is futile, 100%, absolutely, positively futile to seek love in a relationship with anything or anyone. It is, however, quite appropriate to extend love in each relationship, with everyone and everything. But the extension of that love requires that you have awakened to the truth that the only relationship that truly holds value is the relationship between you as the soul and the Father, or God as your Creator. Imagine a light bulb in one of your fixtures that looks out from its little filaments and says, well, I hope that person that just walked into the door is the right one. If I could just reach out and grab them, maybe my own light would come on. Isn't it a lot easier to simply take the cord and plug it into the right socket? How many times are you going to insist on trying to plug your cord into the wrong socket? Well, that didn't work. I'll try this body. I'll try this person. I'll try this career. Not getting very much juice from that either. Oh well, there was a little juice. And then you get angry because it's not giving you enough juice, or it gave you enough juice yesterday but not today. So it must be its fault, huh? There is one little tiny socket into which you can plug your cord. It's the only one that fits in, and it's the only one socket wired to bring you the flowing and living waters of grace. And that socket dwells only within your heart, not the physical heart, but that which is symbolized by the physical heart, the core of your very being. But how many times in each day do you check to see that the cord is still plugged in? How many times do you remember to ask yourself, is my commitment to love, or is my commitment to fear? Fear is the act of disconnecting your cord from the only socket that can truly satisfy you, and running about trying to plug it into somebody else's or something else. And I would ask you to consider this one question as you look upon the whole of your experience. Has it ever worked? Can it ever work? Imagine trying to hold flowing water in the palm of your hand by squeezing your fingers together. How much are you left with? Doesn't it just run through the fingers no matter how hard you try? It finds the little holes and it flows away. You open your hand and there's not enough left to wet your tongue. And yet, each time you've looked upon another, whether parent or sibling or friend or mate or teacher, or whatever you have, every time you've looked upon a physical object and tried to plug it into that socket to get the juice you believe you need, that's what you're doing. And you literally end up squeezing the life out of the relationship itself. But in truth, when you seek first the kingdom and plug the cord into the socket within your heart, when you remember that you and your Father are one, that only love is real, that nothing else matters, and what you are feeling that might be speaking to you saying, but, is nothing more than the echo of an old habit, and that habit cannot live unless you feed it. Therefore, feed the only habit that matters, the habit of remembering that the truth is true always, regardless of what is passing before your physical eyes and therefore before your mind. In all coming and going, in all birth and death, in all arising and passing, a way of universe after universe after universe, in the midst of a flat tire or a sudden rainstorm, nothing holds value except your relationship with your Creator. When you have experienced in relationship with anyone or anything a moment of bliss, a moment of a peace that forever passes all understanding, a moment of fulfillment so sweet and so sublime that no word could touch it, much less express it. What you have experienced is only the flow of love of God through you. It was not caused by that person or thing. It was caused because, for just a moment, you stepped out of your drama. You stepped out of your dream and allowed the truth to be lived. Then, of course, you tricked yourself. God, that was sweet. That was the best thing I've ever tasted. It must have come from you. Get over here, I need you. If you ever believe you need anything or anyone, rest assured, in that moment that you are living in delusion. All you need is love. Love fulfills all things. Love embraces all things. Love heals all things. And love transforms all things. Therefore, indeed, remember well, you and only you can become the cause, if you will, of your fulfillment, of your peace, of your completion of time. And this requires that you do nothing save remember to establish a connection with your Creator. Is it not true that what you desire most of all is love? Is it not true that you try, or you at least hope, that each relationship, no matter how short, no matter what its form, that each journey, that each undertaking will allow you the experience of peace? Is it not true that you who find yourselves in and as a body temporarily in time? Is it not true that the grandest of experiences you've known have been those that seem to flood the very cells of the body with love, with a sublime bliss and a peace? Accept that truth, that what you desire beyond all things is the living experience of love. And in nothing you can do can bring love to you. Nothing you do can keep love for yourself in a form of your choosing. Nothing you do can make love appear in the form of your insistence. By releasing the drama, releasing the dream, choosing to remember the truth that is true always, returning to the kingdom within even prior to every breath, and reminding yourself and saying to your Creator, I want only that which is true always. Love is what I want. Love is what you are. Love is what I receive. Love is who I am. I and my Father are one. Here and here alone you discover what you seek, and then you become free to walk this earth, to be in it but not of it all. And though your friends will look upon you and still see a man or a woman who seems to act much like themselves, and yet, though they see it not, Christ dwells with them. And something in them keeps attracting them to you. They are not sure what it is, but the shape of your body? The radiance of your eyes. 'Tis not these things. They feel the quality of love. Can you imagine walking upon this earth, this very planet upon which you find yourself, and no matter where you are, feeling as though every wisp of cloud and every blade of grass and all good things under heaven and earth were already residing with you, within this sphere of your countenance? Can you imagine walking upon this earth and sensing that the light from the farthest of stars that shines during the night is already within you? That the whole of creation was held in the palm of your hand? Would there be room yet to convince yourself that there is something you lack, something you need, that the restlessness you feel must be valid? In truth, you are like one who has been given a perfect treasure, a priceless jewel, and you have placed it into your pocket and forgotten that you possess it. And so you run around trying to look into everybody else's pocket. And you've tried to seduce certain ones to surrender so that you can own the clothing and therefore try to possess the jewel that you hope is in their pocket. But the great truth is that you cannot possess love until you set it free. You cannot move into holy relationship with anyone or anything until you give up all trace of need to possess it. When your only desire is love, you will be willing to set anyone free, to support them in their own journey, no matter what it is or what it takes. And yet you will never feel your love waver. And if a twinge of sadness arises because you recognize that two bodies in space are now going to go to separate parts of the planet, as the twinge arises, you'll recognize it as the effect of a mistaken perception. And you'll move within to a place in which all minds are joined. And you'll remember that your fulfillment does not rest in gaining love from another, but in giving love to everyone. If indeed you would know the truth that sets you free, heed each and every word that is being shared. And if you would taste the sweet nectar of a perfect freedom, be you therefore committed to replacing every erroneous perception you've ever made, every thought you've ever held of everyone and everything, to set these things aside and commit the fullness of your energy to the simple but vigilant practice of remembering the truth even prior to every breath. I live, yet not I, but Christ dwells in me. Therefore I submit and surrender to the truth that is true always, for my fulfillment comes only from allowing Christ to be given to the world. And so you see, the truth is very simple. It is not complex at all. Get out of the way. Let love live through you. And all of a sudden you will know that indeed you are given all good things eternally. You will know that grace is reality. You will know the effortlessness is the way of life in the kingdom. But effortlessness does not mean that you do not feel, for you are in a dimension of feeling. Effortlessness does not mean that you do not discover, that you do not deepen your ability to be the living embodiment of love. It does not mean that you do not challenge yourself to learn to express love in a way that can be heard by another. Effortlessness means simply that you abandon the resistance to what love requires in each moment. Effortlessness is the way of the kingdom. In the world, effortlessness means that you let down the wall you have built between yourself and all of creation. You no longer resist the lived experience of relationship, whatever it is. Relationship with a cloud, relationship with another person, relationship with a dog or cat, relationship with, what you call this, your April 15th, when you write the grand government a check. Why do you not wrap it up with what you call your Christmas paper and your ribbons and send it with much love? When you've learned to release the barriers, the walls between yourself and whatever is in front of you, when you open the door into what many of you would call your chakras and simply allow love to be lived through you, when you look upon another or another situation or another thing and realize nothing in this world has the power to hurt you, nothing in this world has the power to take anything from you. If you remember to extend love, then you are free, and you've transcended birth and death. The seeker is no more, and only Christ walks this earth. And if your commitment is indeed to look within and discover each and every obstacle you have ever created to the presence of love, why do you resist feeling these things? For well has been said to you that on just the other side is the very love that you seek. Deny then not the role of feeling in this dimension, for feeling is everything. You can't even know the presence of God unless you feel it. You can't think about the presence of God. You can't insist on a belief about the presence of God. That doesn't do it. That doesn't fill your cup. Feeling fills your cup. Feeling, unbridled, unblocked, unobstructed feeling, is the doorway to that love that sets you free. Therefore, when you say, I don't want to feel this, rest assured of what you are truly saying. Yes, the doorway to the kingdom of heaven is right in front of me. But if you think I'm going to open it, you're crazy. It's not worth it anyway. What is worth it is protecting the substitute I have made. And I have called it the ego, the false self, what I once described to you as a gnat shouting at space. That? Oh, that's what I've committed to. And I'm going to protect this thing. Give up heaven to protect this useless little thing? Oh yes, you better believe it. I'd be willing to make that sacrifice. What's heaven anyway? A bunch of love stuff? A bunch of people running around in bliss, some of them without bodies, hanging out in the unlimitedness, fearlessness, utter fulfillment? Who needs it? Oh, but this little gnat of mine. Oh, I'm going to make it shine. There's much wisdom to look at in your funny little sayings and music and things. How many times have you tried to make that little gnat shine? Everybody notice it's shining. Please notice how great I am. I'm making my gnat shine. Listen to my whining and my complaining and my, pardon the expression, what you call the bitching, the lamenting, the great sadness. Oh, how grand my gnat is. Meanwhile, the love of God flows through a multitude of universes and creates forever even new universes. And the love of God doesn't even notice the gnat at all. No one is paying any attention. Your friends around you don't want to pay attention, although sometimes you corner them and they have no choice. But those of us without bodies, do you really actually think we waste our precious eternity taking your attempt to make the gnat shine seriously? Indeed, because we love you, we give you the space and we honor your free will to be as little and as miserable as you wish. And we will wait until you choose to come once again into the greatness in which you truly reside. We never withdraw our love from you. We simply look through your storyline because what we wish to love is the Christ that dwells within you. What calendar day and hour will you truly decide to love yourself as the Father has first loved you? To truly, and once and for all, make the decision to live. For until you decide with and for and forever from the mind of God, life has not yet begun. Oh my God, that's a bit of a blow, isn't it? Look at all the experiences I've had, Jeshua. How can you tell me I haven't lived? Why, there was this drama, there was that drama, then there was that drama over there. Don't you remember 17 lifetimes ago when I did this and I did that? I struggled through that one and I've struggled through this one. I've lived. No, you've dreamed. Do you awaken in the morning and realize that you a whole night of dreams of receiving ribbons and trophies and what have you from the world, and then say, well, that was very real. The trophies must be sitting out on my kitchen table. And when you awaken and sit and put your feet on the ground, you go, shake my head a little. I was just dreaming. While you dreamt, it felt real enough, and that's the quality I'm speaking to here. And if you wish to take this as an affront, it's perfectly okay. It won't disturb my peace at all. Until you fully decide to come into life as the presence of Christ, as the presence of love, to own each moment of your own experience as wholly self-created, for no other reason that you have chosen it from the perfect and infinite freedom of your unlimited beingness. When you look upon all things without judgment through the eyes of forgiveness, when you decide to embody only the reality of love, no matter what anyone else is doing, that is when life began. And as this date on your calendar, there have only been a handful of beings who have truly lived life upon this plane, a very small handful. There are many of us that would just absolutely be thrilled if you would join the club. And I'll let you in a little secret. Until you do, you don't get to graduate. You will never leave this plane filled with conflict and suffering, as it seems to be, until you have lived the experience of walking in the holy as the thought of love and form, with no other allegiances but to love. You will never leave this plane. You will never take up the cross and follow me. You will spin around again and again and again, only to be confronted by the same need to decide wholly for love. And you finally look heavenward and say, Father, let's get on with it. Enough time has been wasted, it's gone, it's okay, it doesn't matter. Now I am committed to love. Bring on whatever I must experience to bring up from the depth the places that I hid it within me. Every obstacle that yet to be dissolved by the light of the grace of perfect love. And I will do whatever I can from my side of the fence to open up those places, to feel those places, to embrace those places, to love those places, to claim those places as wholly self-created. And I will let my parents off the hook, and I will let my siblings off the hook, and I will let my great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather off the hook. And I will let Adam and Eve off the hook, and I will let the government off the hook, and I will love myself enough to heal my separation from God. And I will humble enough to recognize it if I'm having an experience, because I know I have made the commitment to healing. Then you have indeed, precious Father, brought me all good things. For this moment of experience can be seen through eyes that recognize that it is but a stepping stone to the perfect peace that I seek. My life is no longer mine, for I know not how to correct the one fundamental error. But I can surrender into feeling each moment fully when choosing love anyway. And love will dissolve the pain that I have carried, all because I insisted on trying to separate myself from the source of my being. This little gnat of mine is being put to rest. For the only thing that can shine is Christ. For Christ, the Son of God, the offspring of God, is God's only creation. The rest of it is attributed to you. Even space and time is yours. You, the truth of you, is your Creator's only creation. For you are love, and God creates only that which is like unto himself. And God is only love. Many of you believe that you are on a spiritual path. You will know it, but true by your willingness to feel and experience wholly exactly what is in front of you, moment to moment. Whoa. So if you have enmity with another, if you have conflict with another, and you sit in your chair and decide to do what you call pray or meditate, in order to change the feeling state within yourself, and you arise later and say, there, I'm feeling much better now. But the issue has not been solved with another. Nothing has changed. Go therefore to the other. Open your heart. Share resolve. If you have offended another, ask them for forgiveness. If you have judged another, admit it. Ask for their forgiveness. It is only in such a way that you can truly heal the place of conflict within. Beloved friends, the essence of this hour's message is quite simple. Where are you now? Are you willing to allow yourself to see everything around you and within you as the doorway to the kingdom of heaven, waiting only for you to acknowledge its presence and to open it? Are you willing to truly be right where you are, wholly right where you are? And the mind says, well, of course, I'm on a spiritual path. Rest assured, if you look well into your feelings and find any trace of resistance, you have not yet made the necessary commitment that gives you the power to open the door. Feeling is the message of this hour, for it is only through feeling that you truly awaken. Concepts and ideas can begin to direct the mind to believe that there is something out there that is attractive, that might even better than what you've been doing before. But concepts and ideas do not in themselves open the door. They are symbols, not as all. And a symbol cannot quench your thirst. It is only at the level of genuine feeling that you can once again know the presence of God who dwells within you, around you, and through you even now. Feel what you have created as a substitute for the truth. Own it, look upon it, then let it go. Learn that regardless of what choice you have made in the past, that once you have embraced it, once you have felt it, you remain perfectly innocent and imbued with the power to choose again. To feel, to learn, once again to feel the glorious warmth that permeates the kingdom of heaven. Nothing you can do with time can match the importance of what we had shared this hour. Nothing you do in the field of time holds a candle to the incredible gift that is awaiting for you. Therefore, indeed, use time constructively, by deciding to love, that love may teach you of itself. And indeed, beloved and holy friends, when you have done this, you will find yourself translated, if you will, into a form that could never possibly be contained by the space and volume of a physical body. And you will look upon this entire dimension as a mere temporary learning device, and you will set it aside as a child sets aside a toy that he has outgrown. But you will do it with deep appreciation and love for the toy that you played with for so long. And you will carry with you a deep sense of gratitude for everything this physical dimension has brought to you. There will not be a molecule, if you will, of beingness within you that will feel any resentment, any longing, any anger, any remorse for anything. And all your experience will have become wholly acceptable to you. For it was such experience that you finally driven to want only the truth. So, from this day forward, you will never again be able to truly convince yourself that all of your attempts to stay distracted or conform to the world are really accomplishing a thing. And you will find that your mind begins to penetrate the unconscious habits you have created in an attempt to hide from what must be felt. And you will know perfectly well when you are simply deluding yourself, and you'll start to smile and go, "Oh yes, there I go again. Might as well set that aside. Plant my feet firmly on the ground and indeed live with the passion for the truth of the kingdom of heaven." Therefore, for now, beloved friends, be you therefore at peace. We said that this year, this way of the heart, that we would indeed speak ever more directly and even more forcefully to you. For the time comes quickly when this planet will not be willing to tolerate untidy house guests that are not willing to vibrate at the frequency of being to that which the planet herself is preparing to move toward. Therefore, be not caught by coming home one day and discovering that the landlord has changed the locks and you have not a place to rest your head. Rather, become the living embodiment of love and journey with your Holy Mother into an entirely new dimension of being. And never forget to sing, laugh, dance, and play along the way. Be you therefore at peace, beloved and holy friends. Peace then be with you. Amen.